What's going on there, everyone, and welcome back to the video with Dracon. And today we're going into an Underdusk miniature set. Okay, I know what you're thinking, Dracon. This looks like one of those what's the word I'm looking for? Not like bad, but it looks like one of those group miniatures of like simple models that people print all the time. And I agree with you, because I swear I've seen these models for printing, like, but for free. So I don't think they really count towards like a whole seller disclosement agreement. Like, I think they're allowed, or you can buy it license. So have these guys bought the license or something? I don't know. I mean, I know you can buy them. So if they're going to sell a bunch of these boxes, I guess. Now, I don't know if this means they printed all of them. We'll see when I get the plastic out here and we'll take a look. As you can see, though, we got like 64 tabletop miniatures. We're getting different models with like 4 different colors, or 3 different colors maybe. I don't know if it's gray, blue, and grain, or sorry, I said grain, or, you know, beige. And then you got the special ones in the center, which I'm sure is fine. Now, the reason I mostly got this is because there's some cool things. They got giant spiders, useful. You got some flaming skulls, some Nothics, some wolves. You got some cat people, you got some snake ladies, you got some, I think, water people, you got some, like, even illithids for mind flayers, some elementals, you got a Hydra in there, and maybe 3 demons. I don't know if those 3 in the center are demons as well. One's a fire creature, so a hell's on. The other one could be a demon or some type of abomination. But, I mean, we're going to look in there, we're going to take a look, and don't worry, I'm not going to do each and every single 64 model. We're going to, like, throw all the ones of that kind at a time, because, yeah, just like you, I'm not wasting that much time on it. But we're going to open them up, take a look, and see if these look good at all, or see if they're kind of a waste. Now, before we get into there, I'll get to the price. For this model bundle, I literally spent, I believe it was $20-something, and then I got a sale coupon on it. So, and this is on Amazon, again. Might be not that anymore. That was when I got it. And it's probably gone up maybe, because, like I said, I don't know why these models go up and down so much. Or, you know, they just do what they do. Or they're going to see I made a video on it and go like, oh, someone liked all of them, spike it up. Or, oh, man, we got hit. That guy doesn't like him. None other people don't. But whatever. If they don't like what I say, they can talk to me about it. They know where to comment and throw their concerns, and I'll personally message them. Anyway, so goodness, I'm hoping for greatness. We'll see. Sometimes these things surprise me. I mean, I remember the first time I opened up a Wildspire set, but I fell in love with it. Wildspire is just good. But anyway, let's open them up and see what we got inside. Okay, so first up here we have what it looks like to be a Warforged, but with like a cool cannon arm. And I do like the base. I like how there's a little bit of texture going on there and a little bit of stiff. Sorry, the camera's going to do that because we're doing 3 at a time, so it wants to kind of stay adjusted on the 1 at a time. But I want to get all 3 out there because I told you I wasn't going to do 1 at a time. That's just too much effort or too much time we're going to waste, because they're all the same thing. I mean, the gray ones, honestly, is going to give us the best detail look. The blue and bronze, oh, actually, the bronze just, bronze one might work great. But anyway, there's also actually an Underdusk Minis little thing in here, which shocked me. Like a little pamphlet. To unravel the mysteries here, scan the mystery code below. So there's actually a code to understand the mystery. I'm not going to do that, but... So it says, Hark Adventures, perhaps your valiant band of miniatures suffered an attack in transit. Fear not, we can revive your minis in our tinkering shop, or you may choose to have purses reimbursed with coin. Either way, let us know and you'll be happy to take care of you. So they do actually care for their models, so that's nice. I don't know if I've ever gotten Underdusk minis before. If I have, let me know. I can't remember my old videos, but as you can see, these Warforged, or these golems, I would actually call them Warforged because they look like it. Pretty nice style here. I like the sort of like Centurion sort of design with a nice blunderbuss cannon. Pretty cool. And, I guess there's actually creators of Underdusk. Hold on. They're called like Jen and Ethan. Sarah the Sorceress and Tuscaris the Druid. So those are the ones that must run Underdusk miniatures. But okay. We're going to take a look and see if they look. But so far, I got to say right now, I'm actually digging these ones. I love their design. They're simple. The plastic feels nice, so they're not bad plastic, and they look cool. I like the little, like, details in the armor, details on the cannon itself, and overall, yeah, 3 nice models. So 3 different colors I can make for these guys. I mean, dang, very nice. Let's move on. Okay, so here we have what I'm going to assume are 3 goblins. And I don't know if they're hero goblins or they're special or what they're supposed to be, because they kind of remind me a little bit of Pathfinder's, like, pumpkin sort of headed goblins, or the watermelon heads, because they got the ears and the sides are really big. But goblins do have big ears, so it kind of works either way. They got more of like a D&D-ish sort of goblin head. I would probably use them as goblins, maybe an NPC goblin for sure, because, like, they're wearing clothes and they got gear. They obviously have like spells and potions on their belt loop. I do like the little effect going on there. I don't know if that means they're magical, but like I said, I like how these bases, even though they are standard on the sides and down, they do have stuff going on in the base, which is kind of nice. I kind of like that. And honestly, the reason I don't, and someone actually asked, I go, Dragon, how come you don't send a lot of photos of these things painted up? Well, I actually keep them open in case one of my characters wants to go, like, do you have a goblin sculpt I can use for a character? Boom, I slap one of these bad boys out, give them the custom paint job they want, or let them do it if they really want to, and bam, we have a goblin that's to their liking for the tabletop. I mean, as far as for a female goblin, okay, yeah, that's not going to work well for that, but overall, yeah, very nice. I do like them. I love the details going on there. I love they don't have the 5 fingers, because goblins don't have 5 fingers like we do. I think they actually only have like 4 stubby fingers or like 3 fingers and a claw. Like, I don't remember how it's working. I think goblins actually consider their hands a claw. Anyway, very nice. Let's move on. So here we have the 3 barred satyrs that are going on. So we got the 3 different colors. We got the gray, the bronze, and the blue. I'm going with bronze over the beige because it's definitely more of a bronze because of the metallic look. As you can see, though, very nice detail going on. We got some stuff going on with the bases. We got nice little loots in their hands. Got the furry lower side. They don't wear clothes, so I'm assuming if that guitar went, there would be nudity going, so thank goodness for that. Nice little horns on the head. Nice face sculpt. I kind of wish they had a bit of a beard, because, I mean, with satyrs, I think they're a little more goat-like, so they get the beard. Not like a goat beard, like with the straight down thing. I mean, you could, but I kind of like what it's doing, though. It's very nice. Very simple. There's not much to say about them. I mean, they got, like, crystals or rocks by their feet. But yeah, I mean, if someone in your group wanted to be a satyr, I guess this could work for a nice PC. I'd use them as NPCs. I wish there was a female. I hope there's a female satyr variant. I haven't gone through all of them yet, so let's find out. But, I like them. Very nice. Let's move on. Okay, so here we have the catfolk. I'm going to call them catfolk rogues, only because they got the hoods up. But they could be catfolk fighters, as you can see. Very nice details going on here. We got some, like, I guess those are foot wraps, which I guess for beast folk makes sense. We got some lovely two single hand axes here. We got a nice cat tail. So these are definitely type axes that are in like, type axes that you could definitely paint up. One to be like a leopard, one to be a cougar, one to be a panther. You can do whatever you want for them, which I think is kind of nice. That's why getting multi-sculpts is cool. You can always change one to be a certain type of, subspecies of big cat, which I think is awesome. So really nice. I think they're really cool. I don't really have much else to add. They're pretty simple and basic, but I like that sort of simplicity. It allows you to kind of let the mind create on its own. So yeah, let's get to the next set of models. Okay, and here we have, I don't know what he is. Like I said, I did not scan the code for the information. I'm going to call this just the Warrior Man, because he's got the weirdest weapon I've ever seen. And I stopped doing the rotation because, like, it was really annoying my camera for trying to focus on 3 small models like this. Like, with small models like this, it's hard to get it to want to not focus on everything. So this just makes it easier. But yeah, so I decided to go like, well, if I got 3, I got 1 to the side, 1 in the back, and 1 in the front. That way we get to see all the details. Now, I don't understand the weapon. Polearm? I get it. Or staff? I get it. Great axe? I get it. Double-sided or 2-sided great axe? You lost me. Like, I don't understand the use of this weapon. This seems like a double-edged sword. You're swinging it, but when you swing it, you're going to hit yourself with the other set of axes, so it defeats the purpose? Or is your character just supposed to be a master and this doesn't chop your own leg off? Weird choicing, but you know what? I guess for, like, intimidation factor, okay. I mean, he's a very simple sculpt otherwise, so you know what? I mean, he does kind of have a Bane mask going on. Kind of, I'd be too tempted to make a Bane sort of voice for him with my group. Be all like, your time has come, adventurers. Prepare to... And I don't know why I chose Fancy Bane, but prepare to be baned. It's like, oh God, what does that mean? As he snaps at one of their backs, and you're just like, he's a savage. I just can't imagine that now. God darn it. Like, I don't know. He doesn't scream like bulky barbarian, maybe a fighter. You know, I don't know. He could be not wearing armor on his chest. That could be like just the shoulder pauldrons and like I don't know, an attachment point on the across the chest. I don't know. You can do what you want with them. You can paint some to be skin tone, some to be armor tone. But like the big giant chunky belt there makes me think or like, you know, wrap around the waist does give me barbarian feels, but like that's armor, so Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so here we have Loxodon men or elephant men or whatever you want to call them, and they got like a I want to call that a hammer, but I think that's a maul. I think that'd be considered a maul, or maybe a warhammer of some sort with spike variation. You know what? I guess that'd be D&D. That'd be DM discretion. But yeah, these are simple elephant men. Really long tusks going down. Not a big fan of that. I might heat those up and make them point a little upward. As you can see in some of them, the plastic themselves is a little bit soft. Because like you can see how his base is like a little bit up there. So you do get a little bendy base. This plastic, it can happen like that. They're just injection molded, so it can happen. But yeah, very simple design. They're not even wearing shirts. I think they only have a sort of like Egyptian style tunic on for their lower half. I think they're wearing like a wrap on their legs. They do seem to have pauldrons. They have, and then like a neck piece. So yeah, this would be good for like a Loxodon barbarian or maybe a Loxodon cleric, because like you could paint like symbols on his skin and symbols on the eyes, and you know, the tusks. I just wish they were a little more outcurved. I wish they weren't so straight down. Because like Loxodon's tusks are supposed to be kind of like special and prized. And the trunk, I don't know. A little simple, a little too simplified. But you know what? Like I said, for a model on the table, maybe it's supposed to be. Because these like would work great for like Loxodon minions as well. So because of that, I'm going to let it slide. Because, you know, if you got minions, they're not supposed to be extravagant, amazing warriors. So it's fair enough. And I like we're getting more races than the beast folk thrown out there, because those are always cool and they have unique abilities. Like Loxodons can do the whole grabbing with their trunks and stuff and can slap you with it. So I'll take it. Okay, so here we have 3 Illithids or Mind Flayers. And these, I don't care if anyone's going to say I'm wrong, these are female sculpts. Look at the design. Those are those are definitely, you know, motherly sculpts. And I'm going to go with it. And I kind of like it, because you don't see a lot of female Mind Flayers. And I'm assuming in their species they have male and female as they create tadpoles. And I don't think male ones create tadpoles. At least I don't think. I could be wrong. I don't know how that works. I haven't gone into like the Illithid lore for a long time again. Like the Mind Flayers, whether they actually do reproduce. I mean, if unfortunately Baldur's Gate has anything to go by, you can seduce the Mind Flayers. So, for that factor, I'm going to assume there is genders. Because like I've shown in the past, there are female sculpted Mind Flayers. So yeah, I think that's how that works. I'm going to go with it. And if you don't like it, too bad. It's my channel. Fight me if you will, but prepare to be burned down to ash. Anyway, I do like the sculpts. They're very simplified. Very nice dress. I don't know if they're wearing anything on their chest, because like I don't know if it's like one of those front dresses where the back is exposed. But as you can see, they even have a little ridging on the spine of the back, which is cool. That goes up to the cowl in the neck. I always want to think their cowl is actually organic, but I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Because why would an octoploid, is it octoploid? Anyway. But I do like the base. The little rocks are a nice little touch to help give it some detail, because yeah, their feet aren't all that like looked at, and since she's got a long dress covering it, you would never know. But really cool, really cool. I like that we're getting more Mind Flayers for basically easy, like 3 more Mind Flayers I could use for on the tabletop. Very nice. And here we have a shocking surprise. Instead of Bullowags, we get Grung. And I know what you're thinking. If you don't know, what is a Grung? Well, it's basically a poison dart frog variant of Bullowags, where they live more in the rainforests than in the swamps. And I gotta say, I kind of like them. They're kind of cool. They are basic. They have some like patch spots where you can paint them whatever color you want, whether you want them to be warrior Grung, which I think are the red Grung, or are those the dart ones? I don't remember my Grung lore. I know like the golden Grung is the king, and then like the purple Grungs are higher up like that. And I don't know if those are crossbows. Those look like a crossbow. I would probably say they have crossbow stats, because those look like crossbows. They are holding something in their hands which looks like a mushroom, I think. They're kind of Smeagol holding it with the whole, like, my precious. I don't really know. But yeah, if you wanted a Grung NPC, this would be great too, because if your character's like, hey, I want to be like a Scion blue Grung, or I want to be a rare white albino Grung, and it'd be like, okay, yeah, you can paint it like that and get a cool Grung out of it. I mean, granted, they do have to stay wet more than Bullawogs, so that is a caution. Hopefully you're doing an Oceanic campaign, and, oh, actually, sorry, wait, no, you don't want to do an Oceanic campaign, because if a frog falls in salt water, it burns like heck. So yeah, you never mind, you don't want that. Frogs don't like salt water. I almost forgot. And I don't think a poison arrow frog's going to like it any more than a normal frog would. So yeah, don't do an Oceanic campaign. I guess with Grung, maybe because they do have the sticky foot pads, maybe they could stay on the ship better and not, like, if they go off the plank, they just quickly climb underneath. But I just like stopping an NPC from going like, oh, you fasty, and he just shoots you off, and you're like, oh, well, dang. There goes my Grung, all that creation, and I die. I fall in the ocean, I immediately die. Yeah, that would be quite painful. Because not only would that be difficult terrain for a Grung, because they don't swim, or at least not in salt water, because like the salt water constantly burning would be a problem. But yeah, I like them. They have nice detail, nice design, very good. Very, very good addition. Okay, we've moved on to the Grim Reaper, or the Undeads of the Scythe. I guess you could use them as either. I'd probably use them as an Avatar of Death, because why not? And I know you're like, why 3? Meh. I'm not saying the Avatar of Death can't clone itself, but I like the design. I kind of wish it was on a base, because without it, you're going to have to base it anyway, and they don't really sit level, so might have to sand them so they sit level, because I don't know if that's from mold flesh. I haven't checked if it's like from the mold lines, but they're pretty cool, pretty simple, and I mean, you can't really screw up a Grim Reaper. Got a good skeleton. I wish they'd had a little bit more like a neck vertebrae shown underneath the skull, going into the hood, or going into the cloak. I think that would have made it better. The scythe looks good. It looks kind of Eldritch-y, sort of like, a little vintage scythe, not like new age stuff at the same time. So really cool. And yeah, they're not too thick, because you can see they're very skinny, which is good. You didn't make them fat reapers, which makes no sense, because they're nothing but bones. They have no flesh to speak of. But yeah, really cool. Overall, I'd say it's a good one. Good choice, and nice little piece. Okay, now this one is a queen of some sort, or an elemental queen, or something. I'm not sure. She has the tiara, has some lovely shoulder decoration, has a dress, has a necklace, and then a long dress that goes to the ground with, like, spikes coming up it. I don't know if that means she's some type of elemental queen, or if she's like a Disney princess with, like, elemental powers. I don't know what's going on with this one, but, you know what? When I paint this one, I'm probably going to do the 3 different styles. One's going to be a human with elemental powers. One will be, like, maybe a drow with elemental powers. I don't know. Oh, I know they're human, I think. I don't think they're elves, so I can't really do that. The ears don't work. Unless they are elves, then I would definitely do it as elves. And then one would probably be like an elemental queen, where like I'll paint her skin to whatever, like a genasi of that species look like. Oh yeah, you could use them for a genasi, I guess, if you want to be a really fancy one. I mean, I wouldn't go into battles with a dress. It's a horrible idea. I feel it's going to get you caught and you're going to die, but whatever. That's your call. Anyway, let's move on, because I mean, they're pretty, but that's all I got. Okay, here's our dwarf. Always a dwarf in a set. Very nice. Big fat hammer. Big shield, which is actually kind of uncommon. A nice rounded shield. Usually you don't get those kind of shields in the dwarves. You get like a quick chunky shield, or like a small round shield or something. But yeah, nice big one. Not very heavily armored, as you can see. He's very light armored, so I don't know why he got a super giant fat shield, but you know what? I guess he's got to get his defense where he can, since he's not wearing a lot of armor. Got some beard going. The head looks, as you can see, has some little edges on there for like blockiness, but they are dwarves. They are a smaller, chunkier race, so yeah, not bad. Wish there was a little more going on at the base, since they are dwarves, like even a helmet on the ground, or like I don't know, some gold sacks, because they are dwarves. They do have some pretty good amount of treasure. I don't know, something, but yeah, not bad, really nice. I think those will definitely work for some good dwarf fodder, or like some dwarf guards or something, or a dwarf character. If someone wants a dwarf, that's just very simple. But yeah, very nice, very simple, but very nice dwarf. Okay, and here we have 3 cultist ladies. And I know you're thinking, oh, they could be religious. No, they have skulls. Like, those are skulls. This is a cultist woman. She is like a cultist priest or a cultist believer. Whatever you want to use her as, that's what she's going to be. Because unless you have a good goddess of skulls, Not that I can think of any out there. But, yeah. Nice design. Simple tunic dress, I guess I'd call it. I don't know what those kind of dresses are called. First, so sue me. I'm not a fashion icon. Dang. But, I think it's a nice sculpt. You can see there's a lot of details going on with like the legs, the back, the sides. You can see more of like how it's just a plastic model on the inside. So that part's not so great to see. But, otherwise from the table side, yeah, I think they're gonna work really well for a couple cultist women. Like maybe you could use them as like the three sisters of Orcus, maybe, because he uses skulls, or Vecna, something like that, or I guess any other demonic lord with like skulls. So but anyway, yeah, overall not bad. I mean, if you really wanted to too, you could also paint the skulls each like different. Make a black skull, a white skull, or a normal skull, and then like a red skull, or a red skull, and then a gold skull. Just like they're the three skulls that are the keys to the whatever, the apocalypse or something. I don't know. So options, but yeah, really nice, very nice. Okay, here we have a very simple one. It's a flame skull. I guess you could use it for a demi-lich if you wanted, but it's like a flame skull. And very simple, but very good. Got a little bit of fire spurting on top of the skull on the one side. You got some nice fire effect there. The peg effect is very simple, but whatever, it works. You don't have to. I probably would paint it like black or something, so it's like less noticeable, or because you can't paint them white. If you paint it white, people are gonna see it. But if you paint like a black color, it'll look like a shade effect or a shadow underneath. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure how you can hide those kind of pillory colors on a peg. I mean, I guess you could just leave them unpainted, and maybe it's like that's how they know they're not. But or you could rebase them, I guess. I mean, I don't know. This is your call. They're good, but I like how they actually have an open skull. Like the underside of the jaw is open down there, and it's not just solid. So that's a very nice touch. Simple flame effect. You can see a little bit of flash in the one skull there in the back, or that might be a spike. I'm not sure. Might just be how the camera's catching it. Do have good eye sockets too. Their eye sockets are like a deep socket and not just like a small divot. Pretty nice. But yeah, overall, nice little flame skulls. And here we have 3 Nothics. Now, Nothics are a very mysterious creature. They're very hard to see because they're very stealthy, very mysterious. They do a lot of stuff. They'll steal stuff. And, I mean, they're also a very uncommon miniature, and they are expensive. Like, to get a Nothic model, I have one. It would normally cost me a lot of money. I got lucky and drew it from, I believe, Monster Menagerie. But, like, these aren't too bad. They look just like a Nothic. I would give them like unique eye colors or something. Like maybe one has a yellow iris, one has a green. And if you're painting them all different colors, it's even easier, Maybe make like a white Nothic for the Arctic. Maybe a blue Nothic for the ocean, which ironically is there's a blue one. But no, actually, no, I don't think Nothics would swim. Never mind. They're like a climbing cave creature. Frost caves I could see. Water caves, I guess a water cave. But he'd be like a gray Nothic and then like a brown Nothic for the standard maybe. But yeah, or maybe make like an Eldritch Nothic, something like that. I don't know, whatever you want to do. But really cool. I kind of like the little cave during there. So if you put them in a cave, they're going to blend in really well with that little like spiky cave stuff. Really nice. Very nice and simple. Okay, here's one I really like. These are Goliaths, and dang, these are some big boys. Look at the size of them. They are tall. And I know you could say, oh, well, are they humans? No, these are Goliaths. Like, they're bald, they're Goliaths. I'm going to use them as Goliaths because they're just too big otherwise. They are big boys. They are big, brawny beefs. And I like how they're carrying a giant maul. Oh, Lord, I'm getting Shao Kahn vibes here. I'm afraid they're going to be all like, is that your best? As they just charge and bludgeon you into the ground. It's like, oh, God. Plus, they scream Goliath look to me. Like, if you wanted a character who's a Goliath and you want to be a barbarian, boom, here you go. You want to be a warrior, boom, here you go. You want to be like a monk, yeah, you know what? Monks can use hammers. Nothing stopping them. It works. I wouldn't use him as a rogue just because, like, I don't think running around shirtless as a rogue is the best idea. Because, you're being sneaky. And your bare skin, gray skin being exposed might be kind of, well, maybe that's actually, no, you know what? I'd say it wouldn't be. I wouldn't. Because, the cloak helps hide you in the dark. Because usually it's like a black cloak and you're, like, hiding in the shadows. Like, probably would help. Gray, I think, would help you look like a outline that someone might notice and go like, oi, mate, there's someone in the shadows. Oh, and then it's like, oh, now you're dead. Like, and there goes your secrecy. Time to just bludgeon their faces. And, that's not going to really work well. It's like, dang, dude, we were trying to be stealthy. It's like, sorry. Anyway, not bad. Very nice detail in these guys. Very nice. But let's move on. Ah, yes. What group cannot go without a giant spider? Very simple spiders, very big boys, and I like it. More animals. I like having more animal minis. Animal minis to me are awesome to have because they're great additions to enemies. They're great for wild encounters. Also, like multi-steps. Like when you're attacked by animals and something bigger's coming, they freak out and flee, and you're like, "Whoa, the spider's left. I guess we're okay." And then it's like, "Oh no, oh no, no! They just sense what's coming. You are in big trouble, bigger than the spiders." And I like it. They're simple. They are very simplistically designed, but you know what? They're spiders. They don't got to be the most amazing thing I've ever seen. They're simple, and it works. Good job. Very nice done, Underdusk. Very nice. Okay, and here we have some big earth elementals or rock golems. I'm not really sure what you'd call them. They're not based. They're very simple. They do have a sort of gorilla teen primate style stance. I don't think they have a face. I'm looking at it and it looks like it's just kind of coincidentally has like eye spots. Very similar to the other elementals where it's like they kind of have just natural spots that are their eyes, and I don't know. I mean, they're kind of cool. They're pretty cool. I don't have many like elementals of this type that are mediums sized creatures, or are they large? I'd say they're mediums. Sorry, they're mediums. But yeah, if you want to have like a sorcerer who's an Earth Genasi summon 3, stone warriors, here you go. 3 stone apes, I guess you'd call them if you want. I mean, I wouldn't, because like they don't really scream gorilla or ape. They just have that stance. I think it's because, like, as you can see, they're very front heavy. Of course, I don't think stone golems get tired, so that would make... I don't know. That's a good question. You got any ideas? Throw in the comments down below. But let's move on, because they do look good, but as you can see, they're very simple, but they do look nice. They are well sculpted. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to say 3 demons. I don't know what these are. They're definitely not owl bears. I guess maybe they could be. They're all spiky, which doesn't make sense to me, and they got Bigfoot feet. So, like, and then they have, like, 4-fingered clawed hands. Like, and they have beaks and spike, like, ear frills. I don't know what these are supposed to be. I'm kind of frustrated. I don't know. I'm going to just call them demons. I'm calling these war demons. God dang it. I don't know. The dragon has been aggravated. I don't know what this is. I can't figure it out by looking at it because it's not an owl bear. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they're supposed to be. But what I'm going to call them is a brute demon. Because they're big, brawny, and they look like something that would just beat you to death. Very simplistically, they're going to just beat your characters until they're done. That's all I got. I don't know if they have an armored shell or not, or if that's supposed to be like chain armor. Like, are they wearing armor? Is that natural? I don't know what this is supposed to be. If it's an owl bear, throw it in the below if you have an idea. I don't know, because owl bears don't have, like, Bigfoot feet. And then have, like, clawed hands like that. Well, actually, no, owl bears do have talons and stuff. Hold on, that's a... Yeah, but it looks like owl talons on... Yeah, it's like owl feet on a bear on the front half. I don't know. I wouldn't use these as owl bears. Like I said, I would use them as some type of rage beast or a violence, like some type of thing, like a brute beast or something, where it's like it just runs in and just murders and dies whether it dies because like they don't care about them. Something like that. Something simple. But not bad. They do have a lot of going on, which is nice. They have some good details in there. And I think they'll be interesting to paint. Maybe I'll make like an Arctic variant, a fire variant, and like a normal or like a woods variant. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, really cool. I do think they're cool. I just don't know what they are. I wish like Wildspire, they would give me a little pamphlet inside that tells me what they are. But it is what it is, so let's move on. And of course, what set is complete if you're going to have wild creature stuff than having a group of wolves? This I like, because a wolf model is like $7. Overall in price, these are not $7 a piece. They're very nice. The ground texture they're standing on, very simple little like earth. And I don't know why their fur is so spiky on the back, but maybe it's from their design. I don't know. Maybe it's to give them a little bit of a flair, but kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy in a sense. You could make them like a spike wolf or something, but I just paint them as regular wolves. They can't be dire because they're not big enough, but they are cool. And it's always good to have more wolves. Like, the more wolves you have, the more dangerous the encounter can become. Or if you're using them for a player calling them in, the more backup your players can have, making a fight a little bit more manageable. So overall, really nice. I like they chose a wolf and spiders for their beasts. The elemental, I'm not sure, but, a lot of you like the rock creatures. They're simple. But very nice overall. So far, Underdusk, I've been impressed with all of them, and I have not hated any of them. And I gotta say, for the price, I'm overall not complaining. They're pretty good. Let's get to the last set. Okay, other than having, as you can see, issues standing perfectly straight, not sure if that's the plastic thing, I might throw them in like boiling water and see if I can straighten them out. I think that one is missing an arm. Hold on. Okay, no, she's not missing an arm. I checked. There is a wrist bit there. It's just their hands are really poorly sculpted. I like the tons of scaling going on, and for a Lamia, yay, I like Lamias because they're one of my favorites of these kind of Monster Girl things, but kind of shame it wasn't done better. This sculpt, I think, could have had some more love done to it. I think more love could have gone into this sculpt, and I think we would have probably knocked it out of the park. They're very simple Lamias, so I guess, you know, if you got like one of the Pathfinder Lamia Snake Girls, make her the matriarch and make these like her snake maidens, I guess. I don't know, like her handmaiden type things, because like they're not pretty enough to be like an overall boss, but I guess maybe if they're like part of a quest thing to find the Lamia sisters, and I guess it could work that way, you know, but they're not bad. They need more love put to them. So this one needs a little bit. But now that we've gotten all the medium creatures and all that done, let's get to the big ones. So here we have the Fire Elemental, one of the 3 big, large creatures. And I've seen this model before, so I gotta say, Underdusk might be maybe having someone make their models for them. I don't know. I don't know the company. They never got in touch with me. If they do, I mean, I'll figure it out that way, and I'll put maybe an addendum comment in the bottom and be like, oh, I figured out what it is, you know. But otherwise, it is nice, though. I like the fire turning into his body up top and having that. You could have him be in a Freedy if you really needed to, but, you know, no, never mind. He's definitely a fire elemental because, like, he's just fire turning into a body up top. Honestly, I'd make it like Brimstone look. Yeah, I'd look like Brimstone, give him Brimstone for that, and, like, the rest of his body would be just like bright red for fire, or maybe yellow. Ooh, yellow would be nice for a nice touch-up. But anyway, very nice. I think it's a very good sculpt. You know, very simple plastic model. Let's move on. Okay, so here we have like a forest spirit or like a spiritling. I'm not really sure what he is. Maybe a forest demon or a spirit of death. I don't know, because you can see a little bit of plastic straining on his legs back there, so I'm definitely going to have to heat him up. Try to get him flexed back so it's not so much straining his legs, and hold on. Now, he's a very simplistic model. I wouldn't say, like, you know, he's the most amazing thing I've ever seen, but he's pretty cool. Nice little spirit creature. I've seen this guy on Cults 3D, My Mini Factory. A lot of people made this model for sure, but it's nice to get him where he's in a little bit plastic so he won't be as fragile as a resin. I like the antlers sort of effect going on. The mask is kind of gloomy and whistle, so I'd definitely say he's like a spirit of death and maybe misunderstanding. But like you can see the sort of strain on his legs, so he must have gotten either bopped around or maybe his design's a little front heavy or something. But yeah, it's really nice. I do like the sad sort of look in the eyes. I do like that sad look. It really would give you a nice sad creature that maybe people are ostracizing and your group has a choice to either kill this poor thing or help it to be left alone and let it be part of the forest type thing would be kind of cool. Be a nice little like what's the word I'm looking for? You know, fight against the bureaucracy a bit. You know, like, not everyone's right. It's a creature that deserves its own rights. But let's move on. Very nice, though. And here we have our last big special model that only has one of its type, and this is what I'm going to call a gluttony demon. I mean, or a gluttonous cultist. I don't know, because, I mean, like, look at the detail on this one. This one's nice. Granted, he's very simple on the body, but that's importantly kind of sort of part of it. I like the hands just bursting out and like kind of reaching for you and wanting to pull you into his giant gullet stomach. And I like the tongue flapping out. Like, it's really cool. It kind of reminds me of a Nurgling from Warhammer because of like how gross it looks. And then like, it just has a opening on its stomach and it's just, ugh. Now, I don't know if that means that that's actually the source, but I like how there's also detail going into the gullet, too. It's like, it's kind of cool. It is very nice for a simple model, but dang, that is cool. I like that one. That kind of stuff that's unique like that gets me. Very nice. Very nice. Let's get to the final mini, though, of this set, so we can finally get to final thoughts. Okay, and here we get to the big boy of the set, the Hydra. The Hydra. Now, how do I feel about it? Well, I like that it's got a frill on the back to kind of represent a water creature. The feet are going to definitely have to be sanded so it sits better, because like you can see they're off kiltered, or maybe I'll have to heat treat this one, see if it stands better. The necks I wish were not all in one lump, but because they're plastic molding this, I can't exactly hate it. It's not the worst Hydra I've ever seen. It's not the best either because I love the back detailing going on, but I'm saddened how the legs are so bare. I do like the stomach or the chest region. The chest region looks good. I love the little bones, stuff like that, but everything else is so basically plain. It gives me like old dinosaur toy. This thing gives me old dinosaur toys from like when I was a kid. And I mean the really old ones that were good, but like they just didn't have a ton of detail rocking on certain parts. Like that's what the legs are giving me. The rest of it looks good because you do have detail going on and you have things happening and you have looks like there is detail in the face and the teeth. And I don't know if that's fur or scaling. Maybe if they want to comment themselves. Oh, sorry, my light's acting a little funny. Sorry about that. It's acting weird. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's still not bad overall. Overall, I think it's a good model. Like I said, this is only like a $20-something box to get a model this kind. I think it's still pretty good. Overall, would I use this for a tabletop? You know what I would for a quick Hydra boss or Hydra pet. I wouldn't use this as like a big bad because he's just not big enough. We've seen other Hydra models. Even the Reaper Bones one is bigger. Oh, sorry. It's readjusting because he's now not in focus. Let me fix that. There we are. And now, like I said, I just like the spines. I wish the spines were a little out more, but like I said, due to plastic molding, restraints, I understand. The tail's fine because it actually has a little bit of a fatness at the end of the tail for like a sort of paddle. Like I said, I wish he stood flatter. I'm going to have to see if I can fix that maybe with some hot water. I'll put in like some boiling water, hit him with some like heat gun, and try to fix his legs. But overall, like I said, not bad for a simple, cheap Hydra. It's going to do what it's going to need to do, and you could use it for like a lower tier boss. Like I said, not a final end boss Hydra, but definitely a big fight. Because, it's still big and powerful. It's still a huge creature. And I'm not going to hate having another Hydra as an option. Because, it still looks good. Now, is there anything next to my blue Hydra that I've reviewed? Oh, not even close. That thing would be bigger than this monster and had way more detail rock in. Is it considered a Pelacromos? No. Is it comparable to Reaper Bones? No. Reaper Bones one, it may look a little uglier in the face, but still it's sprawled out, has its heads going out and doing more stuff. So, but overall, like I said, this would be like a raised Hydra to me. This is like a pet Hydra. Like, this isn't a wild Hydra. This is a pet Hydra someone raised from an egg. Because it just has that sort of greyhoundish look like it was raised to be like that. It just has that feeling to me. Which I don't hate. Because I don't see a lot of pet Hydras out there. So, really cool overall. Like I said, for the Lammy, I wish she had a little more love to her sculpt. But other than that, everything else is kind of fine. Yeah, there's some bendy weapon stuff. But it's that kind of plastic. Can't expect any more for the final thoughts here. And for the price, like I said, for like 20-something bucks, that's not bad. I got like 64 models. Yes, there are repeats, but for spiders and wolves and flame skulls, that's a good thing. We got a Hydra, an elemental, a weird glutton demon. And then we got a misunderstood forest spirit type looking thing, a sorrow forest spirit. Really cool. Overall, would I say get this? Yeah, I would say I'd have no problem getting this. It's plastic models, and you're going to have to base some of them, obviously, but who cares? Bases are easy. Doing it's easy, and if you don't want to have to print out these models yourself, just do it. So, final thoughts. Nice set, tons of models, good price, and I think, honestly, if you were on the fence of whether to get them, I would say go ahead because you never can have too many models you need. Like I said, for NPC options, or I need to beef up a Grung village for an encounter, you got 3 more Grung that way. Now, is this going to be the most bang for your buck? You know what? Probably not. There probably could be other places that could make a set that probably has more detail, but overall, like I said, if you're going to spend that much, go for it. You're getting a bunch of models, great filler models that I would recommend. Like, yeah, you could spruce them up and paint them really nice. Am I going to go super crazy paint jobs on them? Probably not. I'm probably going to go basic because they're going to be basic creatures. But that's good. I need tons of basic monsters to throw at enemies and players that they're not going to sympathize with because they're specially painted and they're just going to kill them. You know what I mean? They're fodder. But anyway, that's all I got for you today, guys. I thank you so much for staying on. If you have not done so, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment down below of any ideas, comments, or maybe you had a favorite model here you would like to know more of, or maybe you want any questions you want answered, throw them in the comments. I will try to answer you. And if you haven't done so, share it with your friends so they can also join the Dragon Army. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.